the restaurant when it was time for us to go, he called to say that I should take the lead and he would join me there. I went ahead and sat at the restaurant for more than 2 hours. It was later a man joined me, and although I discouraged him from sitting at my table, he began chatting me up. I enjoyed his company and the drinks kept coming, and all I remembered was waking up naked beside the man in the hotel of the restaurant, and I shamefully left for the house. Fortunately for me, my husband was not at home still, and he came an hour later with many words of apology. I wasn't myself after the incident, and I opened up to my husband 3 days later. The man got really angry and asked me to leave his house. I've had no option but to leave. I've not been able to go to my parents' house because the shame is too much. Is there anything I can do to get my husband back? Because I really regret what happened that night. Confessions, confessions, confessions. Who would like to go first? Anyone willing to volunteer? Wow! Today I threw an option to you guys. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and it falls in the green in the middle. Hi, Rosie.
I knew you were going to put me on the spot, and I was just praying.
Now, what are your thoughts about today's story?
My thoughts, I'm like, okay, as usual, let me break it down.
Please.
Okay, so usually it's very disrespectful to book appointments with your significant other, your wife, and always stand her up. It gets very frustrating, it gets very annoying, and emotionally, psychologically doesn't sit well. So usually when you're in a state where you've tried it several times, you get to a stage where it becomes very, like, you are just hoping that something different is going to happen. That's why she stayed there for 2 hours. I wonder why she would have stayed there beyond 10 minutes, honestly. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Worst case scenario, by 30, 40 minutes without hearing anything from him, I would have gotten up and left. I think that she's so frustrated. And sometimes when you get frustrated in a particular direction, what happens is that you begin to value that little thing that you don't have in your regular marriage, which is that attention that you are seeking for, the need for him to be respectful of the dates and appointments that you have made. So to have another gentleman giving you all the attention, psychologically is ringing things in her mind, like, okay, somebody is giving me attention, somebody is giving me his time, which is very valued, something that I would never be able to get from my husband. And then it went on and on and on. And sometimes once the drinks start coming, things start coming, sometimes someone will say the drink is an excuse to do what you really want to do. Well, but then again, there's a part of you that is just enjoying the moment, and then you can end up making mistakes like she did. But what I'll say is that, look, listen, when you're in a committed marriage, certain mistakes are not
easily forgivable.
Not forgivable, cannot be considered as mistakes. You understand? You should know by now that once you're with a strange person, you're enjoying his company, you start drinking one glass, 2 glasses, 3 glasses. I'll be surprised for you to think that the guy is buying you drinks, you're having a good time in a hangout like that, and you are just drinking thinking that nothing's going to happen. It's different if you went in saying that, look, my man is not giving me attention, so I'm going all out to do this. But don't call it a mistake. That's where my problem comes in. You know where it's going to end, but you still went ahead and did it anyways. Now, what I don't get is that, you see, this man has asked you to wait for him somewhere. You waited for 2 hours. He hasn't called you. He hasn't said anything. And you said you woke up shamelessly in the hotel. So I'm thinking that you must have been away for at least a good 4, 5, 6 hours. And you still got home before your husband got home. Where was your husband?
Exactly.
You see, and for me, where was your husband that you were missing? You had an appointment. He was missing for so long, and you still managed, after doing all these things, to get home before him. Hey, then I'm wondering the rounds he went. I'm wondering where he was. He couldn't give you the attention, couldn't give you the time, and he still got home before he got home. So my thing is that, look, I don't know what kind of marriage you have. I don't know the foundation of the marriage. I don't know what both of you believe in, because believe it or not, there are couples in Ghana who are in very open relationships. You'd be amazed. But if the kind of relationship you are in, or kind of marriage you're in, is a committed relationship, then I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the marriage that needs to be discussed. And your confession, I believe, just gave him room
to be able to
vindicate himself and now give him permission to do whatever it is that he's been doing all along. Because anytime he sends you to a location, knowing that you are dutifully going to wait for him there, he takes his time to do what he wants to do and makes sure that he cleans up his mess before you find out. Because I don't know how a husband can be comfortable with the wife sitting in a location for 2 hours. I don't get it.
Yeah, I agree.
You understand? So for me, that's where my problem is. So for me, basically, I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the marriage, and I think they need to discuss it. They need to be open with each other and know exactly what they want. Why isn't the man spending time with the woman? Why are they not going out? Why is he always backing down on dates planned, appointments made? Why? All these questions need to be answered. And then the woman too has to address the fact that she should have known that something would have happened if she was out there hanging out with someone who was giving her time, energy, and everything. She should have known. Okay. And I wouldn't want her to be given a free pass just like that. But I think the man is also messing up.
Okay. Let me come to you, Sicho. Your thoughts about today's story?
First of all, just like my sister said, I think definitely there's something wrong with the relationship to start with, because a man who, it seems to me he just wants an excuse to do what he wants to do or to send the woman away. It seems to me he's not in love with this woman. I think people have to come to the realization that just because someone loves you today doesn't mean they are going to love you or continue loving you tomorrow. I think at some point the man has checked out of the relationship. He's just looking for the right opportunity to actually physically move on with his life, and he's gotten one because she has given him one. There are so many red flags. One, you've been planning different dates, trying to hang out with this person, and he's always been given one excuse or the other. That's one huge red flag. Secondly, how in heaven's name are you waiting for your husband, not someone that is a first, your husband, at a place for 2 hours, which gives room? And of course, because this person is not giving you attention, anybody who comes in, it becomes frustrating for a woman when you're not getting attention from the one person you need it from the most. And I truly understand where she's coming from at this point in time, because truth be told, even when you are getting attention from the right person, sometimes the wrong person can still seep in with one little thing. How much more the major thing you want you're not getting, you know? So I don't want to hold any brief for her, because what she did is wrong. And again, I'm wondering, I remember very well, my grandma used to say, there are things you just take to your grave.
Yeah.
There are things you just take to your grave. And I think a lot of women just do not vocalize these things. My grandma says there are places you go with only your handbag knows what you're going to do there. Not even your best friend. Because in truth, certain things can just destroy relationships. And we need to come to terms with that as women. And learn how to eat and clean our mouths and sit. You know? And I think she hasn't mastered that, and she hasn't done that well in this equation. Because in all honesty, how do you return after so many, in fact 2 hours first, and then waking up by another man, coming back home, seeing that your husband is not around, and you feel guilty? Does she even realize what is happening in this entire equation?
Wow.
Did she ask her husband, where are you coming from?
Well,
how come you are still not back even before me? You know, where did you go? It seems she doesn't ask any questions. It seems to me she lacks a certain sense of self-worth. Forgive me, I may be wrong, but let's look at it from the other perspective, because my sister has given one perspective. Somebody needs to play the devil's advocate to give the other perspective. Why is she not asking any questions? Why is she not asking to communicate with this man she's married to get him to do the right thing? Why has it gotten to the point where she is comfortably entertaining another man and feeling okay? Because if you are getting what you need from your husband, there will be no need whatsoever to look anywhere or to even feel comfortable. I don't see why she's guilty. I mean, as a married woman, she's supposed to feel guilty. But in truth, something is not right, which has provoked all this. And so I think they need therapy rather. Then she can come out of this, for the man to be able to take it in good faith. How she communicated the message to him, I think is wrong. Why are you feeling guilty?
Hey, okay. Another angle.
Yeah.
And coming to you, Olivia. You look almost scandalized. Okay, first and foremost,
Traumatized.
Is confession something she should have done?
Definitely.
Why?
Because just for her own sanity, and just for the fact that she genuinely loved her husband, and that's where love, true love, actually comes in. This is a clear case of what my mom would say: don't be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person doing the wrong things, because the results of all of that is guilt. You don't have peace. She didn't set out to decide she was going to cheat. She had been lacking so much so that she found herself in the wrong place, doing all the wrong things, and the consequences came to bear. So that is what love does. Because she genuinely loves her husband, she couldn't look her husband in the eye and say, babe, I love you, when she knows that she had been
with another man.
So I will give her thumbs up. She did the right thing. She worked based on how she grew up, based on her morals, her ethics, and what she thought it was right of a married woman. And she did right by God and right by man, as far as I'm concerned. My only thing is, and going back to what I said, love is a commitment. And I don't think that people should accept that when you get married, you can be in love today, the next moment you fall out of love. The reason why I say that, and I choose my words carefully, is because when love becomes a decision, it means that yesterday there were butterflies, but today there is more about you that means so much to me that even though I don't have butterflies in my tummy, I can look back and I can reflect based on what we had and based on where we're going to say, it's not the way it used to be, but I still love you for who you are, because you do more. You are there for me. You're committed to me. You protect me. You do your best to be there for me, for the children. So it's a cycle. And like I always say, marriage has cycles. You know, you start off slowly, you peak, and then depending on how much effort both couples put into the relationship, you either plateau or you decline. So we need to have it at the back of our minds that in order to keep us plateauing, right, we need to invest more. We need to be critical about how much time we're spending with each other. We need to be intentional about our love-making opportunities. We need to communicate more effectively. Now you get to a point in time whereby pressure comes in. Your partner is no longer the way he used to be. You are no longer the way you used to be because pressure from work, the kids, 1,000,001 things. But at the end of the day, are you both committed? You find that at some point in time, depending on everybody's maturity level, some people are more mature in the marriage, others are not. So it takes maturity again for the other person who is mature to be patient enough to allow that other person who is not mature to be able to come to meet them. Now, during that process or during that time whereby you're waiting, what gets into what makes a mature other half is the fact that you see that your partner is not the way they used to be. They've changed. They don't give you the attention that you deserve. What do? How do you live with the devil in the same house? Are you going to fight back? Or are you going to take a stance of, I know you're fighting with me, but I choose not to engage you. I know you don't come home early. I know. Now that is tough. That is what our microwave generation don't have time for.
Yeah.
That is what our parents had time for. Now you have, our microwave generation are like, okay, at the end of the day, I'm a grown woman. I make my own money. Ain't nobody got time for that. Like I can't babysit you. Like I can take my kids. I can. But our mothers back then, ideally, the situation was such that they had no choice. But having said that, we are more enlightened and we have more advantage because as much as you're capable, you have a choice. And like I'm going back to the maturity. See, your husband is taking the piss, right?
Yeah.
So you sit back. He's planning on being a devil. He doesn't come home. What's your focus? What's your aim? How do you get him back on course? Do you communicate? How do you communicate with him? Is there one person who he listens to? If there isn't the other person he listens to, how can you live in that midst and still have that sane mind? Do you get therapy for yourself? Do you pray on your marriage? Do you pray on relationship? Because however we want to look at it, there's two sides to it. There could be spiritual things and there could be physical things. So you need to look at things differently, and you need to have patience and time for your partner to meet you halfway. So this guy, he was obviously taking the piss. For me, I find it very worrying that you booked an appointment with me, right? And for hours, you didn't show. You never called to check up on me. Right? He didn't even, because if she had seen a missed call from him,
Maybe
she would have had a reminder.
Yeah.
It would have triggered something. Babe, like, oh, why, like, I'm sorry I can't make it, there's a meeting. So the guy, Nanka Sankasana, he's disconnected from the marriage.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a catalyst to make it easy for him to leave you? And that's exactly what she's done.
So then why
My other
confess?
question is, she had to confess. My other question is, did he always want to be in the marriage? Before this opportunity came his way for him to treat her like that, was he not out of the marriage already? Does he want the marriage? Now you've just made it much more easier. My thing is, your question is, what do you do?
Yeah.
Does the man want the marriage? I know you want the marriage, but now you've made it complete. He can easily go and say to the court and say, oh, you came to confess that you've cheated, so he doesn't want the marriage.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to look at things differently. If he doesn't want the marriage, you can't force him. He's exited. You can't force anybody to love you. If I were you, I would take a cue from it. It's been a bitter pill. I'll learn from it and I'll move on. There's no point forcing somebody to love you in any relationship. And I would look at things differently next time. I'll probably pray a lot more about it, not find myself in situations whereby I'm looking for love and attention out of my marriage, because that's the stepping ground to every mistake in every marriage. That's the door you open to the enemy to, like, boom, come in and mess things up. And I'm always saying, it's not always easy. Marriage is not easy. It is an intentional effort and decision to make things work. It's not lovey-dovey all the time. It's not rosy all the time, but one person needs to be more mature. One person needs to be the fool. One person needs to ignore. One person needs to pray more. One person needs to stay focused, and that's what it takes. You see, people talk about 50 years of marriage, 60 years of marriage. It's been marriage that had sacrifice, empathy, forgiveness. Every day you need to forgive your partner. It's not easy, but you need to make a conscious effort to forgive your partner for your own sanity, for the peace of your own mind, and for your children. So Charlie, let it go. And honestly, you have to let it go.
In 30 seconds.
Yes, I want to reiterate this point. You see, another thing that brings me to the fact and leaves me wondering if this woman has her self-worth intact is the fact that you go to a bar, forget you're married, forget all that little detail parts. You meet somebody in the bar, he's treating you nice, he's talking to you and all that. At what point do you decide I'm going to overdrink and follow him wherever? Like, how mature are you as a person? How aware are you as a person of your own femininity as a woman? It leaves a lot of room for doubt, which is why she's tolerating what she's tolerating at home. And that bothers me in this whole equation, you know? Yeah.
Interesting point. Well, let's know your thoughts as well. Use the hashtag #sister and send in your thoughts. We'll be right back after this.
It's City on the Go. You don't have to miss any of your favorite television and radio shows on City TV and City FM. Enjoy thrilling content from your world of great television and relevant radio at your convenience. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube. Turn on your notification button and receive prompts on our live streaming sessions and new content uploads. For easy access to the CityTube page, scan the barcode on your screens. Subscribe to the CityTube page and voila! Unlimited content awaits you. Don't forget to subscribe to CityTube for amazing content from City TV and City FM.
again to Sister right here on City TV and as well live on City FM. We're coming your way live from the premises of Lotus Bar located inside Xenia Event Center. My name is AJ Akwakosabon. Here are my sisters, Olivia, Rosie, and Sicho. And moving to our second story this evening. Ladies, are we ready?
Yes. Ready.
This one is a page turner. Dear sisters, I have been a side chick to my friend's husband for 3 years. She doesn't suspect a thing because she's very gullible, not very smart, and a school dropout as well. In fact, she hasn't suspected a thing all these years and goes ahead to tell me all of her family problems, and I just pretend to care. She once told me they were having financial problems at home and asked me to loan her 4,000 cedis. I secretly texted her husband and asked for the money. He sent me 5,000 immediately, and I loaned her 4,000, which she paid back over 3 months. Our man gives me everything I want because I'm the kind of woman he wants. I'm educated, beautiful, a powerful corporate woman, and above all, I know how to pamper a man. I am very attentive to his needs, and I nurture his ambition. She barely contributes to anything, can't help him progress, and is a housewife who doesn't even cook well. I am pregnant now, and she's very excited, as though she was the one expecting. She has secretly asked our man for money to organize a baby shower to surprise me. The guy told me about it, and he's actually cool with it. However, I don't think my conscience will allow me let her organize a baby shower for her own husband's baby. I don't want to stop my relationship with her husband. In fact, I plan on being his second wife. I just feel bad that she's planning this without knowing that I am her co-wife. I just want to tell her to stop the baby shower, but I don't know how because she asked how I knew, and as her husband or our husband is the only one she has confided in. Please assist with advice.
Wow. So it's not a case that she's feeling guilty for anything.
No. She doesn't feel guilty. She just doesn't want her co-wife to organize the baby shower for her.
Wow.
So that's what she wants advice
If
on.
witchcraft was a person.
Now, why does she use the word conscience?
Yeah.
You see, hold on.
Yes.
The word conscience. So
It just came in.
So you don't
just
have
because of baby shower.
conscience
All
anywhere.
this
The
while.
only
Yeah.
place you have the conscience is the fact that she's going to be organizing a baby shower
Yeah.
for.
Yes, she's a co-wife.
Why doesn't she just kill this lady already? Because at this point, you've literally killed her.
Yeah.
You might as well just do it physically and end it, because everything you're doing now is wicked enough.
Yeah.
You can kill someone. If this person finds out, if this woman finds out about everything you've done, she can kill herself. So you might as well just go ahead and kill her.
I'm
This
sorry,
is cruel.
Why is this woman asking for advice?
Yes.
Like, she didn't think to ask for advice when she was shagging this other man.
No, she's comfortable with
like,
that from...
exactly.
She
like,
doesn't plan on leaving the man. She had to reiterate that.
no, so
Okay,
considering
hold on, my
all the
BP is
things
going
that
up.
she's
Yes.
done,
Let's
right?
talk.
Why is she asking for advice right now?
Yes.
Just because she wants a baby shower?
seems wise
On
Like-
how to figure out the baby
How
shower.
to figure out
the
Jane?
situation.
Like, first and foremost, you are very selfish. First and foremost, you
Selfish
have
is
no
an understatement. She's
Isn't-
cruel.
You
Calm
are.
down.
You're
Calm
very
down.
selfish. You're very cruel. You're a mean person. You've got a stone heart. This is your friend.
Yes.
And you're shagging her husband.
And
For
she
2 years.
she
For 3
describes her
years.
in such...
And you have the effrontery to send this message in because of baby shower. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, yo, like,
This
get a life.
is just different
I'm
level, different
so
level
upset right now.
witchcraft. Like,
You see,
So okay, let's look at it this way. Why is maybe let's put the blame to the man's doorstep a little.
No,
why
everybody
is
is to
why,
bl-
why
listen.
is this man? Yeah, clearly she describes herself as the perfect option for this man. That she and says that her co-wife can't even cook. So maybe the optics that she gives him is exactly what he wants.
She's
But
an
why
best
why
friend.
why would
Look,
you
you know,
AJ,
I think...
with-
I've been trying to say something
one
for some
woman
time. Listen,
and then go for her best
no,
friend?
listen,
Yeah.
no, listen. A man has a wife. Men don't just jump and marry, especially if he married a woman who's quote unquote not as cool as this co-wife,
Yeah.
etc., etc. There must be a reason why he's married to her.
Is it men? Isn't
I
it
think-
men
I think I
as well
beg to
for-
differ on that
Beyond, let me
point, but I'll
finish.
come to
Let
that,
me finish.
yeah.
Beyond that, a man would take anything that they think is available
yeah.
and make you feel like you are that important just because they want to drop your knickers. You understand? So now, from the man's point of view, he has a wife at home. He is not seeking to divorce the wife. Yeah, they may have problems, but he is not divorcing the wife.
Yes. He's going to
But
marry
he's
her on top.
busily sleeping with you consistently. And because he knows that, for want of a better word, you are stupid enough to want to keep his baby, whilst you know that
Your
he
friend.
is legally married to some other woman
Your
who happens
friend.
to be your friend, and in your head call yourself co-wife without title. It's like you call yourself an owner of a land, you don't have land documents, nothing.
Yeah.
You call yourself co-owner
Without any.
or a shareholder of a company when there's no document in it. Then it means that the man knows that you are stupid enough, so he's able to eat his cake and have it.
Well.
He is never going to leave his wife. For the way you are describing it, if he wanted to leave his wife, he would have left long ago.
Yeah.
That's one angle.
Yeah.
He'll never leave his wife. But you see, I don't know why women do these things to each other. Now, it's different. This is a woman, the two of you are supposed to be friends. Now, friends such that she comes to you to lay her burden on you.
And she says she pretends to care.
Now, listen.
Yeah.
That is what friends, lady friends, are supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Because listen, when you have that one friend, you identify this is my one friend. That should be your safe haven.
Yeah.
Where you can get up, let your fears, and then have her either whether bear with you in prayer,
Yeah.
advise you, be
Support
critically honest where she thinks that you did something wrong or could have done something better, support you, if it's just hand holding, if it's just listening to you, and it has to be genuine. It's very disheartening to see that a married woman is going through this cycle and is pouring her heart out to you, and you are saying you are pretending to listen,
Can you
and yet you have the mouth to open and say that she is your friend, and you have the effrontery to describe her in that manner, that when she was becoming your friend, you didn't know that she didn't know how to cook, you didn't know that she wasn't educated. There's a reason why she also became your friend.
Yeah.
In actual fact, I think that the only thing that lady values is her education and the way she looks, very material, probably plastic. You understand? She knows the true value of that girl. It's out of envy that she felt like she could take something
Away from her.
Yeah.
and it's pure envy that is making her be okay with dealing with that woman's husband.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, that baby shower thing, for the man to even come and tell you that my wife is going to surprise. Look, Charlie, the man is just letting you know that Charlie wouldn't say American about organizing baby shower and I'm a surprise baby shower. Like, seriously, why is he not talking about divorcing his wife?
Yeah.
Well,
Why is he not doing that? And why have you had the need to play the card so well so that his wife doesn't know that you're even in the picture?
Yeah.
Charlie, so that means you are, Charlie, you know what? Let me tell you something. Since you sent a message in, let me tell you something. You have no self-worth.
Yes.
You have no self-respect. That person you are calling a low life is not educated.
Cannot
You
cope.
do not deserve her as a friend. Much more a co-wife. And you will never be her co-wife. Never. The man will never marry you. The child, Krano, you'll be forced to give her your own surname. And not the man's surname. You'd have to carry this secret with you to the grave. Where you are sitting down like a family. Oh, your daughter has to call the father uncle.
I know.
And you
Because
have to live.
Crazy.
Live with your child calling the father uncle.
Because you can't confess.
Because you can't confess this. Because I'm sure she's getting certain things from the man.
Of course.
And that is what's pushing her to feel like she's capable of being a co-wife. My dear, you're not capable of being a co-wife. You don't know what it means to be a wife. You have never been there, you can never be there, and you'll never be there. You see, marriage is a different ball game. Like Olivia said in the earlier submission, it's a different ball game. Until you enter, really, and know that you are... Look, when you can pick up your bag and say, enough, it's enough, I'm gone. We've all done that before. But when it comes to marriage, you can't just pick up my bag and I'm going. It's a different ball game. So you see, the fact that the man has not even mentioned the topic of divorce to you, but in your head, you are co-wifing yourself.
Our husband.
Yeah.
Oh,
Our husband.
Pathetic.
Our
Can you
husband.
imagine?
And you see, it's not the man who has even been telling you about the issues. It's the woman who has been telling you as a friend.
which is quite interesting. So
Which
every
means
time
that
the man
the
stays
man-
out late and then she now comes to you and says, my husband is doing this, you are the one responsible.
Exactly, but I'm saying that
And you
the man is
smile
not even
much.
complaining to you about the woman. It's the woman who is telling you her frustrations with her husband, which means that the husband probably
Doesn't even voice.
Doesn't
it.
exhibit those traits.
disrespect his
Yeah.
wife to you. Wona, because of what you know,
You are now taking
you are
the
now
World Cup,
taking like, yeah, the girl is receiving this, the girl is receiving that. But trust me, married men, they talk without knowing they are talking.
No.
So whilst you are thinking that he's not saying, look, for all you know, when you be surprised to know that the woman probably even knows. You see, a woman's intuition, you'll be surprised to know that a woman probably knows.
Well, she's busy calling him
and
gullible.
the baby shower is probably, even, I dare to say, maybe a setup. I'm telling you this. Because for a woman to consistently be telling you her problems, she's hoping that you wake up, smell the coffee, and play your part as a friend.
Yeah.
Why is she continuously telling you these things? Maybe she wants you to get up and smell the coffee and play your part as a friend, not pretend to love her and turn around and be sleeping with her husband. Madam, you don't have self-respect. I don't know why you're talking to
Yeah,
us.
she lacks.
Let me get your thoughts on this.
Yes, I think it's about time we call a spade sometimes. Men, since time immemorial, have become a problem in society, and nobody seems to want to talk about it.
Preach it.
Men have become dividing agents amongst women for the longest time. You're married to someone. I mean, even if you're a womanizer, there are 1,000,001 women out there you can chase. Why should it be your wife's friend?
Very true.
Why? I feel like he's the leader of the snake gang in this whole equation, because nothing is more disrespectful than you going after your spouse's relative or friend.
Yeah.
It's like a no-go area. Like for me, if you as far as even ask me out and I say no, you dare not ask any of my friends out. How much more we are married
And then you
yet-
now go for
No. That's why I said in the beginning,
eat everywhere else, but not near me.
You're not supposed to
come
eat
on,
in the
respect
first
yourself. So the man himself has no respect for himself,
Sharp.
his marriage, and that other woman in the picture. And she seems to think, because I don't know what will make me date any of my friends' or even consider you worthy to be dated. Because so long as you've ever asked any of my friends out, you are cancelled.
Exactly. It's a girl code,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's a girl code. Or it's my personal code. If you've been able to ask any of my friends out,
You're off limits.
I don't want you.
Yeah.
I don't see you attractive in any way, shape, or form. So this girl lacks respect for herself. This man lacks respect for himself and the girl. And it's just sad that this woman finds herself in that equation. And I wish that something happens for her to know and move out of this. This is not healthy for anybody to be in this equation. I don't know why people think you must suffer to prove a point that you've been in a relationship for 50 years, 30 years. Yes, it's beautiful if two people are working towards it, like Olivia said. But if it is only me going to work towards it, I don't want it. I am sorry. But I wish something will happen for her to find out and walk out of that marriage.
It will happen.
That's my take.
When the baby comes, the baby will look just like the man.
That's my take.
For me, just like they say, life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
I pray that this man will never marry you.
Yeah.
And what goes around comes around.
Preach it.
It's very sad that the man will stoop so low.
Yeah.
Like the sisters have done. She's blasted him and you've blasted her. So I just want you to know that I'm very upset. My heart is really beating right now just thinking about you. But it's because of people like you that people like me don't have girlfriends.
Yes.
I will stay in my corner,
Yep.
deal with my husband, whatever it is we need to talk about, we work on it at home. It's because of people like you.
Yeah.
My mother lost her marriage. And it's because of people like you that the world is the way it is the way it is that it is today. Because
Yeah.
you as a woman, you've made yourself available for this mess to happen to your best friend.
Yeah.
And you should be ashamed of yourself.
Exactly.
Shame on you.
Shame on her. Shame on you.
Triple
again.
shame, triple
Shame.
shame.
Well, let's hear
Wicked
your
woman.
thoughts. The sisters have said theirs. Let's hear yours. Hashtag sister. Send us a message via the social media handles at City TV, at City FM, and as well, of course, let your thoughts be known via social media. Okay, so we'll move on to our next story for this evening. Sisters, are you ready?
Ready?
I am a 24-year-old lady, sisters, in a very difficult situation. I met my boyfriend 2 months and a week ago, and in the first week of our relationship, we got intimate and had unprotected sex. 13 hours later, we got a contraceptive and I took it. That same month, I missed my period, but I ignorantly didn't know that it was pregnancy because I often have late periods. Days went by and I noticed some changes in my body. I told him and we opted for a pregnancy test. We did 3 pregnancy tests and they were all positive. We then talked things out to know what exactly to do next. And we came to the conclusion that we should terminate the pregnancy because he said he's not financially stable at the moment and then as such not ready for a child. Sisters, I also had 5 months ahead of me to travel out of the country. I had no option but to accept to do a termination because my family will be very disappointed in me and also have the fear of being denied a visa if I was pregnant. We terminated the pregnancy through the medical option per my calculations. I believe the pregnancy was around 3 weeks old or so. Sisters, I went through some terrible pain. During the week of my abortion, my boyfriend came to my end to be with me in case any complications might arise. I needed someone to be around in case of an emergency to help me out. That night, something pushed me to go through his phone because I knew his password, but he didn't know I knew. I went through his chats and pictures and found that he already had a girlfriend. Based on the chats and the pictures, I believe they've been together for more than a year. Sisters, what shocked me most is that the lady has had a baby in the same month that I met my boyfriend. I got confused and felt so bad for myself. 2 days later, I confronted him. He denied what I was saying and told me I was trying to make things up. But fortunately for me, I had taken the lady's number from his phone and used that as evidence to prove whatever I was saying was the truth. He was shocked and had no choice to admit that whatever I was saying was indeed true. He has been apologizing to me and asking me to forgive him. But sisters, I seriously can't continue with this toxic relationship. I want to back out of the relationship and focus on what's ahead of me. I just don't know if I'm making the right decision.
You are making the right
You're
decision.
making the right decision.
Hey, just like that.
Yes. But in the first place, you're sleeping with someone first week. In 1 week, you're already sleeping with the person. Wrong. Secondly, 2 months later, you find out you're pregnant. Again, wrong. He's asked you to abort. Again, wrong. What else do you want to see before you know that this person is not right for you? You should just move on. Thankfully, it's just been 2 months and a week that you've been with this person. There's no long talk about this. She shouldn't have even confronted him. She should just quietly move on with her life. Delete his number and move on.
Okay, that Rosie, agree?
I got you.
That's same feeling.
You see. Sometimes when opportunity, when this opportunity is handed to you, such that it's clear for you to make an informed decision and quick, take it.
Take it and run.
Don't rationalize it, so that 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, the message will be that I've had 5 abortions for him.
Exactly.
And yet he has 2-3 children with somebody else. You see, these it's crazy. I mean, to start with, he's been with somebody for over a year. The person has a child for him already. So already he has a child.
He's clearly very fertile.
So it's not like he doesn't know how to make babies, or he doesn't know how to prevent himself from making babies. You understand? But I think that Charlie, the guy is just playing. He's just playing around.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that this is a learning curve for you, so that anytime you go and meet somebody new, you don't just jump into sex with the person, because what sex does is that it clouds your judgment of who you are dealing with. It clouds your judgment. So the thing is that you think you are dealing with somebody, and yet you are dealing with somebody else. Because the sex is good, it's nice. You think that you are emotionally attached. You think that you love the person. But naturally, you don't feel anything for the person. Without the sex bit, you'll not be thinking and sending this message. You got him pregnant. He couldn't buy condoms. You two couldn't.
You could even be sick with some.
Now you are pregnant. He says you should
disease.
abort it. And luckily for you, just 2 months.
And then everything passed her.
Yep.
Interesting.
She's lucky.
Quite, isn't it? Olivia.
She get tested first and move on.
Well, very true. Olivia, your thoughts about this one? Should she be running to the hills, as everyone would assume she would?
Definitely. Really, like, what does he have to offer besides sperm?
Very good
Nothing
point.
else. Absolutely nothing else. He's very irresponsible. It's very, I don't know, I've used the word selfish already. Like, there are no more adjectives to describe who he is. Too many wrong decisions made. That's your green ticket out of the relationship. Thankfully, you didn't stay in too long, to overly complicate your life. And you know what? Next time when you're getting into a relationship,
Exactly.
those of us who, you know, like you never know somebody 110%.
That's true.
I'm
Yeah.
still getting to know my husband, even though we've been together for a long time. You know, every day there are times when we have conversations like, hey, did I ever tell you this? Hey, it's like, oh, I didn't know that about you. It's weird. If somebody had asked me this about you, I
I'd have
would
said something
Yeah.
completely different. Yeah.
because we're still getting to know each other. So 2 months is too much a time for you to be
1 week.
sleeping.
1 week.
Sorry, 1 week is too much a time. Too less a time for you to be sleeping. To commit yourself emotionally and sexually
Exactly.
to somebody.
Yeah.
1 week. It's no. You see, and I would like to just add this out there. Sex doesn't guarantee anything in any relationship. You can have sex. Men have sex. Women always attach emotions to sex. That's why it's very difficult for women when they're breaking up, because it's like they gave you more than just, you know, their
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
The other women are like, okay, I've decided to have a good time, so like it's agreed, like no strings attached. There's some women who just
I
are
think
like
even
that.
those women, something is just lost on them.
Yeah, because it's not normal.
Yeah.
You know, so Charlie, please next time, please be cautious. Don't jump. You know, it's easier when you don't sleep. Oh, when you don't sleep, when you're doing that. I mean, I did plenty. 2 weeks, I made out. Hey, you can't do guy. It's easy for you to break up with them because now you call the shots. You tell them, I don't think you are marriage material enough. I ain't got time for this. Anybody got time for this? Yo, found you to my family home. And then you just move on. So I'm sorry that you had to go through all that. I'm really, really sorry. And moving on to don't let this experience make you paranoid, whereby you start a relationship with your boyfriend. You start going out 1 week, okay, then you start taking his phone because you're looking for a quick way to get information. Because truth be told, had you not got access to his phone,
Yeah.
You'd have never
you would
known.
never
Yeah.
have known.
You probably appreciate the fact that he was with you the whole week.
Yeah,
taking you through
yeah.
the
Exactly.
process.
Meanwhile, somebody else has gotten pregnant. He allowed the person to have the baby, which means that he cared more about that person than you.
You can't
But
really
you know,
tell
we
that
can't
one.
even tell.
Exactly.
Maybe
But
that woman
Olivia-
probably said that, oh,
I will
no,
keep
I
it.
will
Yes,
keep it.
yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
keep it. So he had no choice.
No, but
So-
Livy, sometimes I'm asking this question: what pushed her to want to check his phone? You see,
Because then the
sometimes
you
instincts
just-
on
you
your
just know.
instinct. You
Yeah.
see, there are
You just
little flags, and there are little things that when you see it happen, you end up doing certain things, and anytime you get up to actually take action, you find exactly what you were suspecting.
Yeah.
There's a reason why she took his phone. There's a reason why she decided to check.
And isn't it interesting how he didn't even have a password on his phone?
No, she said
She said she had
She
a
knew
password,
it.
but
She
she
knew
knew, but
it.
she didn't know that.
No,
How many
sometimes
men give their passwords?
No,
to-
she
No.
said
Didn't know that she knew.
She said he didn't know that she had it.
Yeah.
So had she not been smart about it again,
Exactly.
she would
Yeah.
never have
Yeah.
known.
Yes, that's what I'm
So
saying. That the reason why she
needs to-
needed, you see, for a woman to want to maybe watch you, how you open your phone to see what digits you are
There's
doing,
something
it
off.
means that
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
There's something, and that's what she wanted to find out, and she found out what she wanted to find out.
And then sometimes, like, God always speaks to us, even though
Exactly.
we're like, God always tells us, yo, you're doing the wrong thing, you're in
Yeah.
the wrong relationship.
Yeah.
But because we think that we love the people so much, and then we feel as though there's no other alternative, we kind of close our eyes and we're like, okay, this person is really good for me,
Yeah.
oh God. Meanwhile, the signs are clear.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
always have to listen to our intuition. You listen to God when He talks to us, because that's what tells us that, oh, you need to go check. There's something off. Go. So always listen to that, and that's your guiding
Yeah.
angel, or that's your stepping stone. So by all means, please don't make this mistake in the future. It's hard, but forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself and move on.
I'm happy though that her pregnancy. Imagine if she had decided not to terminate the pregnancy, and she kept it, and maybe she even found out something like this when she was 6 months pregnant, and she couldn't have done
That'd
anything
been
about
devastating.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Cut your losses and then you bounce.
exactly.
Eh?
It is what it is.
Unfortunately.
It is what it is.
But ladies, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for coming. I had the most awesome time with the lovely Olivia, Rosie, and Stitcho. Always a pleasure having you lovely ladies here. And thank you for being tuned in. I'll wrap it up with my final thoughts.
My name is Gina, and this salon is where I work.
Good morning. Hey, morning. Hairdressers. You've already met your new colleague, have you?
Who brought this Kujubisi? He fell from the sky.
I'm so glad there's a man amongst you. You ladies gossip too much.
Hey, girls! Today, Madam came in with a hot, sexy guy. And they were doing lobby.
Did Madam think men don't gossip?
The grapevine lies on my lap.
I've noticed a massive decline in our daily proceeds.
I suggest we fast and pray.
The spirit, Hekerabaga, told me today that I'll see a man in this family.
He said his wife is dead?
Yes, she was sick.
Hey, what sickness? Aite,
It is your mother that will get leukemia and die. It is your mother.
I don't like what you are doing at all.
Hey, you want to fight?
Showing every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. with repeats on Friday at 10 p.m., Saturday at 6 p.m. and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. The Hairdressers is sponsored by Ebony Condoms,
Now, to wrap it up with my final thoughts, to our very first story about a lady who, after a drunken one-night stand, and her confession has led to her being kicked out of her husband's home. Even though I'm a firm believer in not saying things that might hurt others, or perhaps putting things on a need-to-know level, and sometimes people don't always need to know, I understand the fact that you felt the need to confess to your husband and tell him your mistake. And your husband, unfortunately, didn't come off as forgiving as you may have hoped for him to do. The best thing you can possibly do, as my sisters have rightly said, is to try and find a way to work back towards him. Maybe find family members that are willing to intercede on your behalf, find a way of opening the dialogue again, and perhaps showing him that you truly are remorseful. But then again, it also raises questions about your husband in its entirety. Why was he away for so long? Why does he keep you on the back burner for so long? Is he also having his own share of other affections, or courting other affections outside of your marriage? And this is something you're willing to live with if and when you're able to reconcile? These are questions you need to answer for yourself, and I hope you make the right decision. Now, to our second particular story, interesting one, where the side chick, aka co-wife, is actually more fixated on the fact that her co-wife is planning a baby shower than the fact that she's been sleeping with her friend's husband for the last 3 years. I think the fact that you still call her a friend is even warped in the first place. You don't consider her a friend. You clearly don't think much of her. You clearly don't think highly of her. Yet you're very happy to stay in her marriage, basically, as the other woman. I think you should just be honest with your friend and tell her that you actually never liked her. You're not the friend that she thinks you are. And save her the heartbreak of thinking and planning for someone who is actually having her husband's baby. I think it's not fair what you've done to your friend, and truly, if you decided that you wanted her husband, you should have been frank and upfront and truly just went for it, as against putting your friend through many issues you probably have orchestrated in your own way. So I think that your friend deserves to know the truth. If the husband is truly someone who wants to marry you, then perhaps he will be fair to tell her that you're going to be a co-wife. But it's highly unlikely that instead of leaving his wife, he's actually been courting your attention all this while. So I think you really should be having a very honest conversation with this person that you don't really consider a friend, and breaking up that friendship and her heart properly. Now, moving on to our third story about a lady who probably skipped the bullet or dodged the bullet when you had an abortion for a man who's having a whole different relationship on the side that has been going on for a year. I know it's very difficult to have your trust broken in this very painful way, but I think truly you have dodged a bullet, because had you chosen to carry a child for a man that you barely know, and on top of that is keeping another family on the side, you'd have even been more heartbroken. Truly, you do not need to be progressing with this relationship. You clearly stated that you have 5 months to go to move out of the country and actually have something going on for you, elsewhere where your family is involved. So focus on that. Leave that man alone. Leave that man to the dogs and you would know that you'll find someone better and more suitable for your taste and your heart. And on that note, thank you all for being tuned in to another exciting edition of Sister Sister. My name is AJ Akwakosapo. A very big thank you to First Just My Lovely Hair, and of course, lovely sponsors at Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign, Kelkit's Toothpaste, and as well, Onga Mama's Helping Hand. And thank you for being tuned in. A very big thank you to Xenia Event Center, specifically the Lotus Bar at Xenia Event Center. This lovely place for allowing us come live from their premises. Come through to the Lotus Bar for a fabulous evening every evening. And of course, a very, very, very big thank you to you for being tuned in, either on TV via City TV or live on radio on 97.3 City FM. Keep sending in your issues, whatever you may be going through, by sending us an email at sistersisterislive@gmail.com. Until I come your way again, keep watching City TV and listening to City FM.
On Footprints this weekend, we have a conversation with God's servants, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, General Overseer of Action